for Top Esports, they will not be locking in playoffs today. We'll have to wait a couple more days, maybe only a day or two, maybe only a series or two between now and then before they can really lock that one in. But Top gonna go back to the Annie and the Wukong. They don't think that was the problem, but I think you can just go straight back to the same composition.
At
you don't need to be
Tristana. You don't have to change if you don't want to, and it feels like TT very happy, just rubbing their hands together. Is there adaptation here though? No. So like, it seems to it seems to me that the read from Top Esports it is kind of funny. It's a laughable moment, but I feel like it seems to me the read from Top Esports here is either one of two things, right? They're not going to blind pick Ksante, or they're just not going to blind pick Top at all, and they're going to reveal the flex of the Annie at this next pick. And yeah, likely ban Gwen if they're eyeing up, you know, this this Ksante pick again. I feel like, however, if it does get banned, there's still quite a few picks that you can very happily lock in here into the likes of a Ksante. So do you necessarily even want to, you know, levy a ban towards Gwen when you can maybe just keep the bans the same but just pick a different champion?
Yeah, I mean, still waiting to see the Renekton maybe banned away by TT, but the Ucal kind of come in because again they're not convinced that this Annie is going to go to Rookie as well. And I think with the Heimerdinger ban, that kind of confirms it for me that you're going to have the Annie in that bot side because you want to try and get on top of it there. But I think the Renekton ban would probably still be a pretty big call here for TT. Again, QingTian so good on that particular champion, really solid to be able to make things work for him. So want to see maybe TT take that priority away from him and then keep moving towards that top lane priority that Hoya was able to use so well.
Yeah, exactly. So this should be Rookie picking up his champion here. Someone like Syndra probably make a whole bunch of sense in my mind, right? Point and click, scatter the week against 2 AD carries would be pretty solid, but they're gonna look at the Nautilus. And I mean, okay, I don't know how I feel about this, because if they do actually lock in this Nautilus, and this isn't just a hover, then TT themselves can go Braum, and they still have proactive setup, and they have an arguably better 2v2 on the bottom side. So I'm not sure. I will say on the side of Top Esports, however, more proactivity is definitely something I needed to see from them, more agency tools, and Nautilus definitely does that. But is this necessarily the way you wanted to go? We'll have to see, as Rookie will now again be piloting that Annie. Seems like TT will get their hands on the Ksante this time around, and we'll see whether or not QingTian wants to take the other side of the matchup Smile, or whether or not he goes to something a little more team fight focused on his end, as Alistar being hovered would be pretty fun. And it kind of
like this.
It yields into both tiles, right? I feel like if you're Braum, you know, you can be proactive, but it can be a little bit difficult. I think the passive would be very powerful because you've got 2 ore attackers, but Alistar kind of does everything, right? You can engage, you can disengage. Yes. And I quite like the adaptation for here from TT, as Olaf slammed here by QingTian. So he wants to just win the early lane. That's it. Simple as that. He wants to run over Hoya in the early stages. We'll see whether or not that comes to fruition. I feel like as the Ksante, you can definitely take your time in that matchup. Kind of just step back, let Olaf take control of the lane. The issue is whether he starts to have impact on the jungle as he maybe starts to look for roams and things like that. But I like the idea here from Top Esports at the very least, right? Proactivity, early game, a little more pressure. That's what they were lacking in game number 1. They shouldn't be lacking that at all in game number 2.
No, and I like the adaptation coming in from TT as well. They're saying, cool, we're going to go with the hyper tank at the top.
It's going to be very difficult maybe for him to deal, as we're here for game number 2 though. Gyos ring loud. I feel like Esports, they need all the support they can get right now. Trying to break their dart, trying to get out of this little rut that they're in. I mean, you know, we said 2 wins, 2-0 win would mean they're locked in for playoffs. It would feel pretty bad to get 2-0'd under these circumstances.
Yeah, it would feel pretty dire. And again, looking at kind of the table, we always have to kind of bring ourselves back towards the table in terms of the LPL, because Top Esports, they could have locked themselves in to a top 10 today if they took a 2-0. Not possible anymore, so they will have to wait a couple of days or a couple of series before that does get confirmed. But a loss here brings them down alongside OMG, Billy, Weibo. All of a sudden, you're looking at a top 4 to maybe even, you could drop as far down as 7th, which puts you in the first round of playoffs, which is, again, why the regular season is so important for so many teams, because that difference in starting where and when you're starting can be massive.
Can I provide a massive hook? These guys are on the wrong side.
Yeah. I like how you had to, like, you know, your brain was like, hang on a second.
I was mathing for a second. I was like, wait, that's not right.
All the numbers and equations coming across
like
your
that,
head. Like
it's like that old setting. I don't know if it's still in the game because I play on colorblind mode personally, where you would always be the color blue, like regardless of if you're on red or blue side. I think they took that out. That
I think it's gone now. Yeah.
That looks really funny. Almost derailed me from the point. Yeah, I feel like for top esports, right, big hopium, you know, point here. Maybe getting that experience in best of fives for a little bit of a soft, you know, philosophical rebuild on their end. You know, absolute worst comes to worst, could feel kind of nice. But you know, the sort of over time fatigue as well, because that will start to take effect, right? No matter how superhuman you feel as a player, playing that much professional League of Legends is slowly going to take a bit of a toll out of you, and that can impact your performance at the end of the day. So do you necessarily want to go through that strain, right? It doesn't always work. It's very rare that you have a team start out in the, you know, round 1, round 2, make it all the way, right? I feel like LNG was kind of the only team in a little while that I feel like I've seen do that in the LPL. Maybe my history is quite shallow as the newbie, but what could be shallow is Ucal's grave if they actually manage to get on top of him. Tian still waiting here, I assume, yeah. A rookie.
On the wave is gonna push back into him, so I don't think he really needs to go too aggressive here. Finally, he does put a ward down to see if anybody's there, and does confirm his suspicions that Tian was lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, just hit my mic. Don't mind that noise.
Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, ignore the man behind the curtain. No one's there. But Tian, look for that for a little while. No play going to be yielded. A little bit of a feels bad moment as Beichuan just gets full clear, gets a scuttle, and now can just kind of sit behind Hoya here. Because you know QingTian is maybe going to look for an aggressive trade, or at the very least with the wave stacking up, Tian going to look towards the top side because he was just here not long ago. As he will show on vision, so he just kind of doesn't care, I guess. He's just going to pace in this bush. But at the very least, like, at the end of the day, his presence is just going to stop Tian from showing at all, right? So, yep. Objective still accomplished, and now Hoya can get a free reset.
Yeah, free reset in for Hoya. He wants to be behind a little bit on CS once this wave is picked up here by QingTian. All things going well for the top esports top laner. And we're seeing a little bit more kind of priority here in this bot side here for the top esports duo. Not having the Braum and instead swapping out to the Nautilus does mean you have that kill potential. As Ucal TPs back into the mid, as does Rookie. The mid laner is just trying to keep this out. And this time around, Ucal is playing respectfully to Rookie. As you can see, Tian was trying to get something going for the mid laner in that first few levels. As we can see, maybe a little bit more respect from the Tristana, recognizing, look, I don't want to be giving over too many opportunities here to this Annie to really scale herself in. Because again, the big thing that we kind of took from game 1 is that TT were very happy to just sit back, relax, scale up. You have double AD carries, you will melt objectives. So therefore, you are not going to be in such a big rush to make these big plays. Yes, you do have the Elise, you can make them, but you're not forced to.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, in contrast,
Hook. Equaled out there by the pulverizers. They're going to get a little bit more damage down here on the Tian. There's a flash in, there's the Timbers, and there's first blood, but now Tian has nowhere to go, and he's going to be confirmed there once that bomb blows up. Tick, tick, boom. There's the free that's coming in now as Mark has to flash away, throws in another dredge line as Rookie still putting in damage. Beichuan, no flash, no repel. And that bear is very angry. He ends up TPing back towards his own master, but 1 for 1. Is top esports looking a bit more comfortable now, having a bit more agency like we talked about in draft?
Yep, absolutely. 1 for 1 at the very least. Top esports looking for proactive plays, breaking up the tempo of TT. As Ucal just going to get harassed by Tibbers. Very frustrating to deal with, but it's just a lane control tool that you can't really deal with. You know, you take so much damage. Don't forget as well, as Rookie, you can just cast the Molten Shield, and as you auto-attack it, you'll just take more damage. So, a little bit of a lose-lose as go back into the replay here, and just going on to Yao Yao at first. And I mean, Rookie dips into vision for a second, comes back out, flash tibers. You have to kind of be expecting it as TT, but able to find a little bit of recourse with Tian going down. Even if he survived, Huanfeng was there for the for the alley-oop in that dragon pit.
Ooh, unfortunate Ucal.
It's fine, it's only 14 gold.
Yeah, true. Well, it's 16 gold. Because he missed boat minions. It's actually 20. It's actually 20. Yeah, I was gonna say it's 32 gold.
Oh, you know, actually, I forget. The mid lane creeps are worth less than the side lane creep.
Are
you
they?
knew that, right? They are.
No, genuinely, are they?
In the early lane, go look it up. It's one less gold. It's one less gold for the casters. I think it's also one less gold for the melees as well. And the cannon is worth 10 less gold. Memory serves me right.
Let me have a look. I believe you, but I need to confirm this. My God.
Oh, QingTian is
in trouble.
This is that one
both
undertow.
ghosts have been used. Nice dodge out though from the undertows, which means that QingTian just has to pop his ghosts as Hoya responds in kind. Interesting enough, actually, Hoya used his TP. QingTian did not, so QingTian in a slightly better position to be able to go for a bud without the Ragnarok. You're not going to be Ragnaroking your way out of this one here. So Beichuan looking to see if he can maybe make something work, but the rest of top esports are in the vicinity. Neither AD carry going to be joining this, so this could be a 4v4 around this Rift Herald.
Yeah, definitely could be. Top esports have created a vacuum of vision for TT, so that could be a little bit spooky to walk into. They're actually looking for a play here, Mark. To force the flash Yao, not bad. You take that, but as you move away from the river, you kind of yield a little bit of your vision control here. Not too much, and you could actually get collapsed on Tian. In trouble maybe as well.
They're going to look for a little bit of a move here on the Beichuan as Hoya's already there. There's the Cyclone coming down. Tian doesn't have flash. He's going to be going down. It's a support for a jungle trade, and in all sense of the words, you take that. I will say, though, you have got QingTian coming down here off of a reset there with the cap movement. They're going to see Hoya now getting a lot of damage. Can he go down? Not quite. The shield! Shield and a dash, and Hoya stays alive.
Oh my God, you're kidding. Top esports are going to feel a little bit frustrated about losing on that end of the kill, but TT getting away with a little bit of murder after finding a 1-for-1 where they kill the jungler. However, when you kind of zoom out, look at the minimap, I actually got QingTian on this for now, and Tian will just join with blast cone over the wall. H1 in the area, but is he, I mean, he can look for a 50-50, and he will have members from TT, but I feel like it's just a little bit too much of an overstep. Members of top esports should be able to just shield that one away and get it as Ucal.
He's playing respectfully this time around. It does feel like top esports feeling a little bit more emboldened to go for those kind of trades as Rookie 2-0. Feeling a lot more comfortable and should have his Rod of Ages. Yep, there it is. Just to pick up nicely in this mid lane, but definitely, yeah, she picks up a stopwatch as well, I believe. So definitely feeling a lot more comfortable coming into this one here, or maybe he just got upgraded straight off the back of it. But again, a lot more priority here for top esports, feeling a lot more comfortable in this early game. It's not leading into anything too significant for the moment. It's only a 1,200 gold lead and the Rift Herald, but still feeling more positive, you would imagine, comparatively to where they were in game one.
Yeah, my only concern in opposition to that is just the fact that TT still have a fair amount of the same scaling options that they had in game one, right? The only thing they're down is that Gwen on the side lane, but I mean, you know, Ksante, you know, it's a similar measure of 200 years, right? So how much are you really gonna be upset by that? As Hoya does eat a bunch of damage from those undertows, but that's just kind of the nature of the matchup, right? You're just kind of playing Q dodge simulator. As Tian has the Herald, don't forget. He's looking for a play in the mid lane because, again, the lack of wave clear does definitely heighten the value of mid lane tier 1 takes in the early stages. And when you've got Herald, you want to try and take advantage of that as Beichuan waiting over the wall behind the dragon. They will see the dragon get started up, so maybe a 50-50 on the cards if they really want it. But the setup is wholeheartedly top esports. It's sad.
Yeah, top esports are definitely in the advantage when it comes to this first dragon setup. And look, it's still only the first dragon. Nothing too crazy to be worried about. And at 11.5 minutes, not exactly an early Drake soul to be worrying about as well. So Curious to see where the kind of is. And I've also have confirmed for myself the mid lane changes. And while confirming to myself, I have a question for you. Do you know what allegiance the blue and red minions are? There are two different allegiances. You know what their allegiances are.
As in,
it's
like,
not just blue and red side. Yeah, they have names?
So
they don't have names, they have an allegiance. So the blue minions have an allegiance to order, the red minions have an allegiance to chaos. Yes. Fun little facts here you learned today. But yeah, there were one less gold for the first 14 minutes in mid lane.
Does that mean, like, canonically, red side is just evil?
Correct.
Oh my God.
Well, no, hang on. Chaos doesn't necessarily mean evil. You know, have you ever watched Soul Eater, the anime?
But, no, I haven't. But chaos typically, you know, it kind of means a lack of care or a disregard for safety.
It's just a lack of order.
Which often societally.
You make
if we're going to get philosophical here for a second, Oisin, if I may.
I mean, it depends on the person, you know? Like, chaos can be a good thing.
I'm just saying that in the League of Legends skin lore... let me open up the book for a second. What's... I've forgotten what the skin line's called. Is it Dusk and Dawnbringer? Respectively?
Dawnbringer and Nightbringer. Dawnbringer,
yeah, that's it. So Nightbringer's all about chaos. And Dawnbringer is all about order. And there's a pretty clear theme between which of those champions are perceivably good and which of those champions are perceivably bad.
If I was to give you the dictionary definition of chaos, it's the property of a complex system whose behavior is so unpredictable as to appear random, owing to great sensitivity to small changes in conditions. Doesn't say evil anywhere there, does it? No evil there.
Oh, okay.
Well, this could be... We'll see if it's chaos or order for top esports in this box side. Beautiful segue there. I hope you noticed that. As we can see, Rift Arrow getting dropped down into this bot lane. Good vision control from TT means they're not getting caught out by this proactivity here from top esports as they just try and get themselves a little bit of gold. But Ucal might be running straight into a bunch of people. And there's just nothing to do. All that vision control and you still get caught.
That play was definitely all in order for top esports. Really easy rotation. Felt like it was chaos on Ucal's screen. Just getting jumped on by 3 members. Herald charge. Got a lot of gold into JackeyLove's back pocket. Really nice 2 plates there. Right before they dropped off, and in the mid lane now, they'll just take a massive chunk out of it. Likely won't take the entire tower, but still the damage is going to be nice and felt. And if they pick up the second Herald, that tower will now drop as long as it gets the charge off. Oh wow,
Huanfeng gonna have to use his cleanse. Yeah, gonna be forced to cleanse there as Tibbers just go down. Beichuan and Yao Yao off to the side here as Huanfeng just eats up this wave in bot lane. And I will say, it's a good pick, but it did go over to the Nautilus, so not an ideal target for kind of accelerating anyone's builds or items, but a win's a win. And with the priority now having been garnered by top esports, they finally get themselves this turret in bot lane. They pick themselves up about a 2,000 gold lead, actually, and they're looking to see if anything else is QingTian. Maybe gonna try and burst it. He can 1v2 this very easily. He is waiting for his Ragnarok. Courtesy Beichuan go golden. He's got one reset. They flash, and finally Ucal picks it up. Oh, that could have been a 3v1. QingTian does go down, but he made a damn good show of it.
What the hell is Olaf, man? Not only did he nearly 1v2, he then nearly one-shot Ucal as soon as he jumped on his face. That was ridiculous. Damage coming out from the Olaf. Holy moly, 1v3 forces out 4 summoner spells, or 3 summoner spells. 1 flash from Beichuan, I think 1 from Yao Yao, and the Ignite. Absolutely absurd. And it's going to get to the Herald as well. It's not even just an isolated play where TT make a bit of a mess of it. They make so much of a mess that they'll give up the objective on the back end too.
Just dirty flash abusers outside of top lane. You know, if we real get ghosts, but QingTian, you can see there they wanted to try and make sure that they got the ultimate out before they popped the CC, but he's just so powerful.
Yeah, I hope the slow-mo is on the damage here on Ucal too, because wow, 1 undertow, 2 auto attacks, and a reckless swing. Almost killed Ucal. It could have been 2 undertows, maybe. Either way, it doesn't make it much better because goodness me. I think it was 3 O's at the end of it actually, but to think that he could kill Ucal that quickly, it makes you wonder, could he do the same thing to Huanfeng? And this is the thing, right? It's with Olaf, and there is a bit of a running meme with Olaf and generally his usability in later game team fights. Hold the point as we might see a butting of heads.
No, we will definitely see a butting ahead. Ucal does probably going to use his buster shot now in a second, or he would if he had it. Flashes away, but I think he's dead regardless. And that is just a very easy pickup here for top esports. Continuously revisiting Ucal to make sure he does not get the advantages he wants on this Tristana.
Yeah, really, really good. And just shutting down that avenue, right? We saw Ucal really take over the game, some of those team fights, while Hoya was making all of that space in game number 1. So just trying to shut down how quickly Ucal might make it to these breakpoints is super big. I did mention earlier that the Herald could get used in the mid lane, right? But having already taken that tower, they just use the opportunity top side. And if they want, they just take a couple of resets, make it back down towards the bottom side of the map. That dragon is up, just no one's looking for it right now. Beichuan farming a bit of gold, won't pick up the skull. And yeah, you know, going back to the Olaf point, because that run through was so absurd. Don't worry about this replay. No, Ucal, he couldn't get away from the CC, there's too much. There's a bit of a meme with Olaf that he does take a little bit of expert piloting, shall we say, in the mid game to be useful. If you kind of beat Huanfeng to his big item break points and you just run him over, it doesn't really matter, you know. But what does matter is the fact that this dragon did get absolutely one shot. Now there's a fight ensuing on the back end.
Oh, that's a 3-man knockback, and they're going to try and make their jump on the AD carries. They finally go in, and Rookie goes back over. Double kill coming in here for the Zeri as JackeyLove finally gets to be a participant in these fights. Hoya does eventually have a little bit of a moment. Should be able to dash over the wall as well, but you get the dragon, but you're losing the fight, and little by little, bit by bit, we are seeing gain a huge gold lead now, and having that dragon as well is pretty big for them, considering it delays that game that little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's gonna. Yeah, he's just gonna try and kill himself. Yeah, that's smart. He knew if he took the hex gate that there was an Olaf waiting for him. But now, not only are the kills going over, but you're gonna get pressure at all 3 lanes as well. A lot used here, a lot given up by TT just to gain a dragon.
Yeah, tower. This one probably won't drop, but a lot of damage will be taken, which you'll very happily get as top esports here. But like you say, how worth is it really, right? I mean, on the flip side, you have to look at it like this, right? If top esports get this dragon, all of a sudden Hex Soul in 2 dragons time, even if they're at the late one at almost 27, 28 minutes, dealing with that whilst you're being kind of snowballed on, a bit huge, right? And like you said, double knockback looked good for a moment, but once the damage starts to unfold, you get a very clear picture that it's top esports now are wholeheartedly winning this one. You see the backstage as well. I see the coaching staff. Of course, with some of the things going on behind the scenes, won't delve into, but feels nice they're getting a little bit of celebrations on watching their team win.
Yeah, missing their main coach and his leave for personal issues, so definitely feels like they need this kind of momentum. They need this win. It feels like this could be the start or the end of a very slippery road for the side of top esports, and not just yet. They're 5,000 gold up, maybe 6,000 to be perfectly honest, and they are going to be definitely feeling a lot more confident in this particular game comparatively to game number 1. But Tian is going to be the big proprietor here. 2 items here onto the Wukong. 2, 2, and 3. Yes, he's died, but him and Rookie have comboed up so exceptionally well. And it is going to be about their big engages. The combination of the Annie and the Wukong that they are clearly prioritizing to make sure they can get themselves these big team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Oftentimes a lot. It feels like sometimes you'll see Wukong be in certain compositions and you're like, well, he's kind of one of the few engages. But his setup on the side, that was a bit away from Mark. Expect Mark to hit those. But, you know, oftentimes the setup from the Cyclone is absolutely huge. And I think, like you say, spot on. With Rookie has been phenomenal so far, and it's been a little bit too much for TT to handle. And now, situation like this where you have no vision in the river and you have to check bush by bush, getting dredge lined or then subsequently getting
Huanfeng. Huanfeng. The gates are great. They are not going to be good enough, and that's going to be Beichuan as well going up because the dredge line was coming down. And then the spider hits the Bitsy spider, went up upon its web. down came Top Esports and splattered on his head because Top Esports are just owning these fights right now. Hoya will get some decent damage in this bot side. May even get the turret, to be perfectly honest, but with a recalling Olaf, shouldn't be able to confirm that either. So it's going to be more and more pressure, more and more advantages, more and more gold for Top Esports.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think Hoya's going to die for this. I think QingTian might kill him in the long extended. He's going to get the 600 gold, but how much will he be? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense, yeah. Okay. I think Yao might. No. No.
You know what the great thing about Olaf is against a unbreakable Alistar? True damage, baby.
Yeah. And on like a 30-second cooldown with like 400 damage per prop.
Yep.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have a look at the replay here. It is literally just.
Observers, do we have to? I guess we have to.
Yes. Hello.
It's like the worst game of peekaboo you could ever ask for.
Yeah, it's the most terrifying game of peekaboo. You know what? I was looking into this. You know, we're looking at genres of game for League of Legends. You know, it's like it's an MOBA.
Yeah.
But MOBA, high fantasy, horror. Especially for Huanfeng, as he is not having a fun time with this one here, but more and more advantages. Nearly a 10,000 gold lead. It's Baron still up for a minute 45. They should be able to confirm this tower as well. I mean, what do you do here? You're going to need an insane engage coming out from Hoya and maybe an insane catch from Beichuan to try and come back to this as TT.
Yeah, and I mean, last game it felt like TT were able to take control of the map, subsequently the game, right? And I think being denied that when you're not really running crazy amounts of team fighting tools in this game number 2 in comparison to the plethora of options available to TT or Top Esports rather in that regard, just makes this a little bit too lopsided, and Top Esports taking control of the game as they should be. Engage comes through, but it should just be disengaged a bit. A little bit of poke goes back, but in him, yeah, it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, like when you know when you're hitting the support who's not, it's still a tank, but not the tankiest. And you're not doing any real damage. See there, Yao. Didn't even get time to pop his Unbreakable to become tankier. As we can see, Hoya trying his very best here, but a flash in with the tippers. Ucal has nowhere to go. Huanfeng's the one's left standing, and TT absolutely routed. This is what Top Esports wanted in game number 1. This is what they couldn't get. And they do strike back in this series. They will go to 1-1, and they are still looking to get themselves up to 9 wins.
Need it. They need it desperately, Top Esports. And I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, not out of the woods yet. Still in the series, of course, but naturally you can still see that some of that shakiness is there. But it's good to actually see Top Esports break the individual game loss streak that they've been on.
Yes.
For the last couple of weeks now. In a pretty dominating fashion, and that's how we would expect Top Esports to play into a team with no disrespect to TT, of course, but like TT, right? Top Esports is the team that we expect to be our usual top 1, 2, 3 on like a bad split type kind of feel. So seeing this win, definitely good positive signs, and I think the adaptation rather from game number 1 to 2 made complete sense, right? I think we kind of called it out as it was happening in game number 1. Not enough proactivity tools, not really anything in the means of an answer in the top side. Because I feel like even though QingTian has been the stability sort of resolution for Top Esports in relation to their last previous iteration rather, still giving him counter pick is very valuable here. And I feel like they kind of learned that through game 1. You can't give Hoya that much space, even though usually the focus is on Ucal and Beichuan as kind of the mid-jungle duo, or even occasionally Huanfeng taking over the later game team fights. Hoya still has a lot to say, and if you can silence him through the draft, then at the very least you have more options to play with as Top Esports, and you saw it there firsthand that they did.
Yeah, they were able to silence him in the draft and then ignore him because, you know, the Ksante's not really in a position to make anything happen there until he's at 2, 3, 4 items, and that's when he is going to become such a huge threat in those team fights, which meant that Top Esports could put their focus into that mid lane. Rookie and Tian were the focus and catalyst of absolutely everything in that game, and honestly, it worked fantastically well. That's why they were prioritizing the Annie and the Wukong so highly in that first game and now in the second.
It's a mirror, isn't it? The gold graph over time. Last game, TT had the gold lead for the entirety of it with no breathing room, and this game, Top Esports returned the favor. And like you said, rookie Tian, rookie leading the damage charts in this, excuse me, in this game, and QingTian as well, not far behind him. I wonder who's going to end up getting MVP on the side of Top Esports. I feel like it's got to be between rookie and probably QingTian. I feel like that 1v3...
I'm putting my unofficial vote in rookie. That's where I'm putting my unofficial vote.
Yeah, I feel like rookie's Tibbers throughout this entire game are really, really consistent as well. I don't feel like he really missed the mark on any of them. But I also feel like I'm starting to get a grip sometimes with how the LPL MVP vote comes down. And
yeah.
QingTian's 1v3... Ah, but the stats from rookie.
I was going to say, you're looking at rookie's stats right
yeah,
now.
I
Didn't die, 100% kill participation. Like, you can't not give it to him.
All right, he's probably going to get it. And that's fine by me. As rookie, yeah, had a really phenomenal game. Shut down Ucal, and that's what they needed to do because Ucal was the big, you know, playmaker, the voice TT in a lot of the team fights in that first game. Shutting him down in game number 2 seemed to be the answer, and taking away Hoya's proactive opportunities via the draft made a whole bunch of sense here. So now it's up to TT to try and find an answer to that. Whether we'll see side select changeovers, we'll have to see. Gene, I think we're going to a break.
We are indeed. We'll see you guys in the